Listen carefully, because this may be one of the most important messages you'll ever hear. Every single one of us has faced people who drain our spirit, distort our vision, or discourage our dreams. Tuitulin. Some of you walked into this room today tired, frustrated, and wondering why keep losing your joy. Asvas. It's not always the situation. Sometimes it's the people around you. But today, you're about to receive 8 genius strategies that will not only protect you, but also transform how you move through life. Twenduan says Messe, if you stay with me until the end of this message, you won't just learn how to deal with toxic people. You'll discover how to reclaim your power, your peace, and your purpose. This is your moment to rise above what has been holding you down. What has been holding you down? Bodhi, preaching style filled with wisdom and urgency. The first strategy is awareness. You cannot fight what you cannot see. Toxicity hides behind smiles, sweet words, and even false concern. Learn to watch patterns, not promises. When you become aware, you regain control over your reactions. The second strategy is boundary building. Boundaries are not walls, they are gates. They determine what you allow in and what you keep out. When you value your peace, you will guard it with wisdom. The third strategy is selective access. Via selective access. Not everyone deserves a seat at your table. Stop feeding people who only bring poison to your feast. Distance is not rejection. It's protection. The fourth strategy is emotional discipline. When you master your emotions, toxic people lose their power over you. Respond calmly. Never react recklessly. Silence can be louder than any argument. The fifth strategy is value alignment. If someone constantly mocks your principles or pressures you to compromise and right at you, it's a sign to step back. Q27 goes on to say, guard your integrity as you would guard a treasure. And the spås are this. The sixth strategy is purpose focus. Stay so focused on your assignment that distractions lose their pull. Toxic people thrive on your diverted attention. Starve them by you living with clarity. The seventh strategy is forgiveness without access. For topiconus without access. Forgives so your heart stays free. But remember, forgiveness does not bebenritu. Remember, forgiveness does not mean unlimited access. Release the bitterness, but keep your boundaries. But keep your boundaries. So, the eighth and final strategy is rising higher. When you elevate, your circle changes automatically. Your circle changes automatically. Birds don't have to chase the sky. They rise into it. When you rise, you leave toxicity beneath you. Spa the conclusion, sealing the message. These 8 strategies are not just steps. They're a new standard for your life. They're a new standard for your life. You are not called to be a victim of toxic people. You are called to be a leader of your own destiny. Take this teaching to heart. Apply it. Share it. Your peace. Your purpose and your power are too valuable to waste. Recognizing toxic influence early is one of the most powerful skills you can develop in life, because it gives you the ability to stop damage before it grows. Toxic people often disguise themselves as friends, helpers as a bet, or mentor, but their actions slowly erode your confidence, clarity and peace by training yourselves by training yourself to observe behavior instead of listening only to words, though you start to see patterns that reveal the truth. You notice how someone reacts to your success how they speak about others, how they handle conflict. So cases, and whether their presence leaves you, and whether their presence leaves you drained or inspired. This kind of awareness is not about judging people harshly. It is about protecting your inner environment. When you recognize a harmful influence early, you have the opportunity to set boundaries while your energy, focus, and self-respect are still intact. You no longer waste months or years being confused or manipulated. This early early recognition also allows you to maintain compassion without sacrificing yourself. You can pray for someone, wish them well, or keep professional ties, but you stop giving them unrestricted emotional access to your life over time. This clarity strengthens your self-worth because you are sending a powerful message to yourself that that you are valuable and valuable and worthy of respect. It also increases your intuition and discernment, and for future relationships the sooner you recognize toxicity, the faster you can pivot, redirect, and realign your path toward healthier connections. So instead of living on defense, you begin to live on purpose, proactively choosing the atmosphere you want around you. This kind of vigilance is not paranoia. It is wisdom. It frees you from cycles of repeated pain and positions you to grow, lead, and thrive. Recognizing toxic influence skill early is not merely a survival skill. It is the foundation of emotional freedom, spiritual maturity, of emotional freedom by bone and long-term success. Protecting your inner peace, not just about avoiding negativity, is also clarity, is about creating an environment within yourself where clarity, joy, and strength can thrive. Inner peace is the invisible foundation of every healthy decision you will ever make. Huarathana say, when you are calm inside, your thoughts are sharper, your discernment is clearer, and your reactions become deliberate instead of impulsive. And toxic people, situations, and environments often thrive on chaos, and they will test your emotional stability to pull you into theirs, move to the into their storms. By intentionally protecting your inner peace, you refuse to be dragged into battles. Battles that do not belong to you. This protection begins with your spirit. A protection begins with self-awareness, recognizing what disturbs your spirit, what drains your energy, and what triggers unhealthy emotions. Once you identify these factors, you begin to set invisible boundaries in your heart and mind. You choose your conversations. You choose your conversations carefully. Limit your exposure to gossip or manipulation, and develop rituals that keep you grounded, such as prayer. So, which is prayer, reflection, journaling, or quiet moments of solitude, protecting your inner peace, also means giving yourself permission to walk away from situations that feel harmful or dishonoring, even if it disappoints others. It requires courage to value your mental and spiritual health over the approval of people. Over time, this discipline creates a stable internal world where toxic energy cannot easily penetrate. Kosai. You will notice that your patience increases and your confidence strengthens. Your confidence strengthens and your sense of purpose deepens. When you protect your inner peace, you are not running from problems. You are preserving the problems. You are to face them with wisdom. This mindset transforms your relationships because people sense your stability and begin to respect your boundaries or drift away if they and handle them in protecting your inner peace, and you are also training your mind to remain focused on growth and vision rather than drama and distraction. This daily practice positions you to make higher quality decisions, to to attract healthier connections, and to live free, as on to say, and to live from a place of strength instead of survival. Ultimately, protecting your inner peace is an act of self respect and spiritual maturity that builds an unshakable foundation for every area of your life, of the phone area of your life. So, mastering the power of detachment is transformative skill that allows you to maintain your dignity, clarity, and strength, no matter how others behave. Detachment does not mean you stop caring or become cold. It means you stop being controlled by unhealthy attachments and emotional manipulation. Many toxic people rely on your reactions to fuel their power. They provoke guilt, trip, or dramatize situations to keep you entangled in their chaos. So when you practice detachment, you take back your emotional keys. You choose when and how to respond rather than reacting impulsively. Knees. This creates a calm inner space where your judgment becomes clearer and your self-restraint grows stronger. Detachment allows you to observe instead of absorb. The tuan observe, so instead of absorb. To witness someone's behavior without letting it pierce your peace. Your peace. You can still offer kindness, guidance, or professionalism while refusing to be drawn into their storms. They say, this is a form of quiet strength because it shifts the dynamic from their control to yours. Because it shifts the dynamic from their control to yours. Detachment also gives you the freedom to walk away when necessary without bitterness or resentment. It allows you to forgive without reopening the door to manipulation. It makes your boundaries firm but not harsh, prush. And patient, compassionate, but not weak. The power of detachment trains your mind to focus on your values. So when your goals and spiritual health, instead of constantly measuring yourself by someone else's mood or approval, is smoothly approval. Over time, you will notice that drama loses its grip on you, aches, and relationships become healthier because your stability no longer feeds the toxicity. By mastering detachment, you also develop greater empathy because you can see a person's pain, your responsibility, without making your responsibility to fix it. This goes on to say, this emotional independence strengthens. Independence strengthens your leadership in a decision, and your decision making and your resilience. In the end, detachment, it is not rejection, it is protection. It preserves your energy for your truling and calling and your authentic connections. Say, mastering the power of detachment is a discipline that sets you free from manipulation, empowers you to act with wisdom, and positions you to live from a higher place of peace and authority, upholding your core values in the face of toxic people is one of the greatest demonstrations of inner strength and self-respect you can ever show. Your 13 core ever show. The values. Your values are the compass of your life. They guide your decisions, shape your character, protect your destiny. The next part goes on to say, when you are surrounded by negativity, manipulation, or constant criticism, it becomes tempting to compromise or adjust who you are just to keep the peace. But every time you betray your principles to please others, this is on to say, you weaken your own foundation. Upholding your core values means refusing to a core value. Means refusing to let external pressure rewrite your internal code. It means standing firm on honesty, integrity, kindness, and respect, even when it is not convenient or popular. Toxic people thrive when they sense inconsistency because it gives them space to exploit your uncertainty. By staying anchored to your values, you close the door to manipulation and confusion. This anchoring also sends a clear signal to your mind and spirit that your mind and spirit that you are trustworthy to yourself. You build self-confidence, to say confidence, because you are living in alignment of belief, because and you live with your belief, and that alignment creates peace. Upholding your values also creates a natural filter for your relationships. Hule 27 goes on to say, people who respect you will rise to your standard. Those who do not will often drift away. This is not rejection, but a refining of your environment, a refining of your environment. Ewan, the stronger your values, the flits of this is and this is without hesitation, the easier it is to make decisions without hesitation, because you already know what you will and will not accept. Over time, this consistency builds your reputation, strengthens your leadership, anchors your leadership, and enhances your influence. Pipui. Even in moments of confrontation, you will notice that standing on your values gives you clarity and courage. And courage. And then say, because your words and actions come from a place of truth rather than fear. Upholding your core values does not mean you become rigid or judgmental. It means you are authentic and principled ultimately, which in turn inspires others to do the same. Ultimately, holding fast to your core values in toxic environments preserves your dignity, protects your future, and allows you to live with the unshakable confidence. What happens is that no matter what happens around you, you have stayed true to who you are, transforming conflict into growth is a powerful mindset that turns painful encounters with toxic people into opportunities for self, massive people, and opportunity for development. Instead of going to development, conflict is often uncomfortable, but it reveals hidden truths about ourselves. Our boundaries and our triggers. Instead of seeing conflict as a dead end or a sign of failure, or a sign of failure, you can treat it as a mirror showing you where growth is needed. Every argument, misunderstanding, or moment of tension holds a lesson. Holds a lesson if you are willing to observe it with wisdom. When you approach conflict with this perspective, when you approach conflict with this perspective, you stop taking everything personally and start asking deeper questions. What is this situation teaching me about patience? With about communication, about my own values. Toxic people often thrive on chaos and emotional reactions. But when you respond with calm analysis, you strip them of their power. You strip them of their power and strengthen your own. This shift helps you practice self-control, develop empathy without surrendering your boundaries. And refine your problem solving skills. Transforming conflict into growth also allows you to test and reinforce your principles, your principles, or principle under pressure. It's easy to be kind, disciplined, and wise when everything is smooth. The real test comes when someone pushes your limits. And the next part of 20 Sen goes on to say, by choosing to Wazro and Zed, simply react, you build resilience. You say confidence and emotional intelligence. This doesn't mean you tolerate abuse or accept harmful behavior, but rather that you extract wisdom from every experience and use it to rise higher. Over time, your ability to transform conflict into growth turns adversity into an advantage. Toxic people become unintentional teachers revealing areas where you need become stronger or clearer. This practice ultimately elevates your character, say, because you are no longer defined by the handle a fly depart how font of flight itself by how you handle it. Handle it. And to say, you begin to view challenges as stepping stones, not stumbling blocks, and this mental shift changes how others see you as well. People will recognize your stability and leadership under pressure, and transforming conflict into growth empowers you to navigate life with strength, dignity, and vision, turning even the most difficult interactions into a forge that shapes you into a wiser and more unshakable person, rising above, not sinking below, is the mindset that allows you to maintain your power, dignity, and clarity even when surrounded by negativity or provocation. Borzek, pridey. Toxic people often try to pull you into their level of conflict. Gossip is where manipulation, or manipulation because that is where they feel most in control. When you choose to rise above, you refuse to engage on their terms and instead operate from a higher standard of thought and behavior. This does not mean you ignore reality or become passive. It means you consciously elevate your perspective and with wisdom win wisdom rather than impulse. Rising above begins with self-awareness, recognizing that every reaction you give, that reaction you give is an investment of your energy. When you rise above, you decide that your energy is too valuable to waste on drama or retaliation. This mindset helps you stay calm when provoked, measured when criticized, when you're gracious, and gracious even when you are misunderstood. It allows you to act from principle rather than emotion. Over time, This discipline builds a reputation of steadiness and strength that toxic and not. People cannot penetrate. So it also creates a protective distance where you can see situations more clearly and make better decisions. Rising above also shifts your focus from proving yourself to improving yourself. Instead of fighting for validation, you grow your skills, deepen your character, and strengthen your inner peace. People who thrive on chaos lose interest when they realize they cannot shake you and those whose integrity and those who value maturity and integrity are naturally drawn to you by refusing to sink below. Desde you model a standard of behavior that inspires others to lift themselves as well. This approach, if the Prodicee aligns, this approach also aligns with the principle of term vision, because you are choosing outcomes over outbursts and growth over grudges. He goes on to say, rising above is not weakness, but mastery. It's the deliberate choice to let your life speak louder. Let your life speak louder than your anger. Ultimately, practice liberates. This practice liberates you from reaction, you from the cycle of reaction. If he preserves your energy for your purpose, their next part in the go on to say, and positions you to lead with wisdom, confidence, and grace, no matter what challenges surround you. Idimly